What's up, everybody? It is Wednesday, April 17th. I've made like 10 new videos, but I don't think I've uploaded them. If I have, I'm sorry. I keep saying this at the beginning. I changed positions, so I'm driving when it's not quite as light out now. That's why it's dark in the video. But we're coming off the heels of 300, and there's been a bunch of things I've wanted to talk about, but I'm gonna narrow it down to something specific that doesn't even have to do with 300 so much. Listening to chael like I always do, and if you're a follower of chael doesn't really like the idea of range. He doesn't, the whole concept of range, who has the better range, he calls it reach actually. He doesn't like the idea of reach being an advantage. Also today, when I was watching today, he really tore into the concept of footwork. And it's just how he wraps his head around it. Like, he doesn't necessarily believe someone has good footwork. It's like your feet are moving you to where you want to be. On the reach thing, his argument would be like, go pull up 100 fights, see who the winner is, and then look at the reach afterwards, and you'll realize it's not an advantage. That's not detailed enough for me to really follow him, but I do see how reach, it's an advantage and a disadvantage. It's a double-edged sword. My reach is really, really good if I can keep you on the edge of my range, which is kind of how I fight. But like the people I train that don't have my reach, that are, it seems like I do end up with a lot of people with my build, like the lanky arms and stuff. But I've had a handful come that their arms are nowhere near as long as me. So I have to teach them how to get inside. Well, once they get inside, my reach is then a disadvantage, because it's like I have to bend my arm, and there's so much more motion to try to get these close strikes by like lifting. If they're right here in front of me, I can't do this. I have to like bend my elbow up. Sorry, it's hard to get the video while I'm driving. But once you're so close, an increased reach is a disadvantage, and that makes a lot of sense to me. If someone is getting the better of me, they figure, most of the time sparring, if they're getting the better of me, they're staying inside my range the entire time, and we're just banging it out. And there's chances I can get the better in there, but that's not where I'm going to dominate at. I'm going to dominate at the edge of my range. Someone gets inside. How would someone with shorter arms dominate at the edge of their range when the edge of their range is already in my range? Like, they got to fight for those 6 inches to get where they can be at the edge of their range. I don't know. I think that's a cool concept, and I haven't ever really heard it said like that, how reach has both an advantage and a disadvantage depending on where you're at. I haven't given any thought to his footwork statement. He basically just said, I don't get why people talk about footwork and say someone has good footwork. It's just their feet are doing what they're supposed to do. It's not how I look at footwork myself. One of my favorite fighters has always been Dominic Cruz. I love the way he fights. I love that he created his own footwork. He created his own style. When you watch, and I'm stealing this line from Joe Rogan, but you could like take a silhouette or just a shadow figure of Dom fighting, and most of us that watch fighting are gonna be like, yeah, that's Dominic Cruz. Like, he's the only one that does it. And then he's built business off teaching that, which is sort of what I do. They didn't really realize that until right now. But I can get how chael's like, yeah, your footwork just gets you where you want to be. I just don't know. Footwork really helps with discovering for me. So like, and there's different types of footwork, like keeping your hips square. I connect it to keeping my toes straight. I would consider that footwork, because if my stance gets bladed, my foot gets sideways, and that limits how far I can strike forward with my backhand, the cross. However, I also think of footwork in how I switch stances. I play with switching stances a lot. Like in the beginning, I'm real literal, and it's like I was taught you stay in one stance and you stay in one stance, and I've talked about it 1,000 times. You watch professional boxers with 50 fights and they're staying in one stance the whole time. They're only using 50% of their ability. That blows my mind. So when I talk about footwork, and yeah, it's evolutionary. So like it would make sense for Chael to say doesn't like footwork, doesn't understand footwork, if Chael only fights in orthodox and he can survive in southpaw but can't dominate. If you can't do the same things in both positions, you're not even in a position to talk about footwork, because I don't know. I guess that's how I look at it. Like footwork really creates the other half of your body. That's just my outlook on it all. We're at 6 minutes. This has kind of just been a random video. I gotta start getting my YouTube videos back up. I've been busy, switched jobs, talking to people, whatever. Let me see. 300 was a entertaining card. I'm so happy Max came out and just, no one gives Max, I should make a whole different video on this. Maybe I will. I don't know. No one gives Max this credit. Max is the guy that you don't talk trash to. Max is the guy that when you're building it, you don't say what you're going to do and how you're going to win. You just, hey, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to bang it out with him. He's a killer. I'm a killer. We're going to try to hurt each other. That's how you want to approach your fight with Max. You go in there, Justin Gaethje talking about damage. Man, the moment he said that shit, I was like, Max is going to fucking murder this guy. To me, it's comparable to Kobe or Michael Jordan. And there's probably others if you're a deeper basketball fan, but those are the two that, like, in my lifetime, it was like, you don't talk crap to them. It's just going to fire them up and make them play better. That's how Max is. And it's really exciting. Man, what a performance. What a performance. And, like, no one was counting on Max. Yeah, I guess we'll stop there. We're at 8 minutes. It's kind of random today, guys. We're talking about reach isn't always an advantage. Someone having a 74-inch reach versus someone with a 70-inch reach isn't necessarily an advantage. It plays with position. And even though Chael isn't big on footwork, the fact that Chael isn't seeing the footwork shows that Chael doesn't understand striking. And oh God, that's a bold statement, isn't it? But Chael even made the comparison of, if you watch boxing or MMA, he said in MMA it's like 80% you'll hear about footwork, 100% in boxing. It's like if you watch wrestling, you won't. Because they're on the ground, you goofball. Like, what do you want? What do you want? Like, when I really heard him say that, I was just like, what? All right, I really am done. That's the end of it all. I hope y'all have a good week. Look forward to getting back to some videos. Like, subscribe, comment, question, anything you want to hear a video about or talk about.